To go back a bit, Lars Erik, to when you were working as a sports psychologist, can you give us any specific examples of some of the effects of mental training on some of the sports people you've worked with?
Yeah, maybe I give you some examples from different areas. I think it was 75. I was working in US with the Canadian team, downhill team, and there was one skier who was trying too hard, you know, and if you try hard and are over motivated and so, you will interfere with the performance. So I was thinking I will make an experiment. So I told her there should be a competition on Saturday. So I said, I should like to compete with you. And she looked very puzzled. I didn't know you should take part. No, I said, I will not take part as such, but you will make the first run for you, and then I will borrow your body and make my run. And she looked very puzzled and said, how? But she said, oh, it sounds very interesting. Yes, yeah. So she made the first run for her, and it was rather good. She was number 4, and the whole elite in the world were there. So then I took her down to her in the mental room, which she has learned, and I told her body or inner mind how I wanted my run, and then gave some amnesia, and I said afterwards, your inner mind know what to do, so you don't have to bother. Just go out and put on your skis and let it happen. And she made a very good run, but the first thing she said when she entered the finish line was, I won over you. And I said, why? Because it was not so fast this time, she said. But then when we looked at the result, she was number 1. But what has happened was that she came into a flow state. Yeah. And one sign of flow is the time perception change. So
she didn't notice.
Things seems to go in slow motion. And this, of course, gives more time to do things that you normally have no time to do. So then she found it very interesting, and then she learned how to do it herself, and next year she took the gold in the Olympics.
Fantastic.
Another, if you take some from the swimming team, Swedish swimming team, you know, when you're prepared for a big competition, you cannot prepare with the only goal of winning or taking a medal or going to the final, which was common in swimming, because you don't know what the other swimmers will do. So instead I told the team to pick out times. So, but then one of the swimmers said, but I want to win the gold in the Olympics. And I said, okay, but then you have to sit down and try to figure out what time you have to do. And he did that 2 years before the Olympics, 1980. And then he started to swim in his mental room 3 times a week. Then 2 months before the Olympics, he got ill and rather bad for 3 weeks. He went down 3 kilo. So he came to the Olympics in a rather bad shape physically. And still he took the gold.
Wow.
Because, and I have this race on my video, and it's a technical bad race. But you know, when you are programmed in this way, it seems like the body just do it.
Just does it,
I've seen many such examples.
How very interesting.
In the 80s, we had one skater who also said that I want to take the gold. But it's very difficult to use times in skating because it depends on the ice and so instead he, in his mental room, he went back to a competition in Norway where he had the right feeling. And then he took this feeling and he connected that with the trigger before he should start the Olympics, first in Sarajevo and then in Calgary. And then he had another trigger when it was 2 turns left to take away the fatigue, and with this help he took 3 gold and 1 silver. And he say that if he didn't have the mental training, of course it should be very difficult. If I take a recent example from sport or from motorsport. We had one guy, Kenny Breck, who started with the IndyCar in the United States, and there is the biggest race in the world is the Indianapolis. So he wanted to take part in that, and of course, how can you prepare when you have never taken part? But then he looked upon the videos and TV pictures from old races, and then he put himself into a car, and then he was racing and racing and racing. So when he started, he had done it a lot of times in his mental room, and he took it. He won as the first foreign person. He took this in the winner. So there are many such examples showing how the mental training in different ways can help performance.
Can really help people.